Alright guys, so today's story time is a pretty crazy one that I think you guys will enjoy very much. I haven't told a story time like this in a very long time. And yeah, just leave a like on the video if you enjoy it and want more stuff like this. And let's just jump right into today's story time. So today's story time all takes place when I was 16. Now 16 for me wasn't even that crazy of a year compared to other ages. I feel like 14 and 15 and like 17 were crazier. But 16 I feel like it was a lot more chill. And somehow this still ended up happening. So this all starts off as a normal day. I'm sitting in my room, 16-year-old Luna's playing some COD, and one of my friends texts me. Let's just call this friend Alex, okay? Alex was a very crazy, crazy individual. Like, any chance he got to go and do some crazy stuff, he did it. For example, he would, constantly go into abandoned buildings, constantly climb buildings that were super high up. He'd also, hang off the edge and stuff. He was basically one of those, adrenaline junkie type people. And one day, Alex hits me up while I'm sitting in my room, and he's like, yo, dude, you want to come hang out? I was like, yeah, what do you want to do? He's like, let's go on top of this abandoned building. I was like, shit, man, I don't know. You go up some pretty high roofs. I don't know if I can handle that. He's like, man, just trust me. It's not a bad one. There's no security there, no cops. We're good to go. I was like, all right, fine. So Alex, me, and another friend of ours decided to do this. Alex picked us up. We went straight to the abandoned building. We went inside, and we started walking around and exploring it. Now, the first few floors, pretty cool. Nothing out of the ordinary, just classic abandoned shit. And then we got to the very top floor. And then from there, Alex took us into a stairway that led to the roof. And when we get to the roof, I looked down, and we were pretty high up. Now listen, I've been on many high buildings. This one definitely wasn't the highest building I've ever been on in my life. But it was 5 or 6 stories. So if you fell off of that building, it'd either not feel good, you'd be left with many broken bones, or you wouldn't make it. So of course, I was staying far away from the edge. But of course, Alex, being the crazy motherfucker that he is, was walking up to the edge and tiptoeing on it and doing all this crazy shit and doing front flips. And before I get to the end of this story time, moral of the story is don't be like Alex, because Alex can end up hurt very easily. Anyway, so he's up there doing his crazy shit. I'm standing there with my other friends staying far away from the edge because we're both afraid of heights. And then I look over the edge just a little bit to see what it looks like down there. And I can see a car pulling into the parking lot of this abandoned building. And I look at Alex, and I'm like, yo, I think there's a car down there. And he goes, what? And he looks over, and he can also see that there's a car there. And then the lights flick on, and it's a security car. Yeah, the building had security guards. And I was like, dude, that's a security car. He's like, bro, what? I was like, you told me there's no security guards in these buildings. He's like, there isn't. I've been here a million times. I'm like, dude, fuck. And then all of a sudden we can hear on a megaphone. This guy gets out of his car and he puts on a megaphone. And he goes, please get off the roof. I'm calling the police. They're already on their way. So we had 2 choices. We either go down to that parking lot and we wait for the police, or we get the fuck out of there as fast as we possibly can before the police show up. So we start running down those stairs to the bottom of the building to leave. And we get to the bottom floor, we hop out of a broken window, and we start running as fast as we can through the parking lot, up this hill, to get to Alex's car. And right as we're running up the hill, 2 police cars pass by us going down the hill to the abandoned building. Now they see us running away, and they immediately know that we're running from the direction of the building, so they flick on their cop lights, turn around, and start chasing us. Now, immediately when they start chasing us, we all completely just ditch in different directions. Alex goes left, my other friend goes forward, I go right, and I jump into some random, woods, and I start running as fast as I can through this forest. And the shittiest thing is this forest had no trails. It was not the type of forest that you run through normally or walk through normally. There was no pathways whatsoever. So I was just getting cut up on random tree branches and running into trees and shit. And I was just so confused. But I also didn't want to turn my phone flashlight on because if I did that, the police and everybody would see me. So I'm just running aimlessly in the pitch black, trying to get my way out of these woods and find somewhere safe to relax. And about 20 minutes of running later, I finally get to the other end of this forest and I leave the forest. And I start walking through some random neighborhood, just completely lost and not knowing where I am. So I take out my phone, I look at where I am on the GPS, and I can see that I'm near a gas station. Now I was very thirsty and very dehydrated because I'm a lazy motherfucker who never runs, so I just ran more than I had in forever. So I walk over to this gas station, I grab a drink, and I'm just in there in the air conditioning, drinking this drink, just rehydrating basically. And I end up sitting in this store for 30 minutes, right? To the point where the store clerk looks at me and he's like, hey man, are you good? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? He's like, well, you've been sitting here for 30 minutes. No one ever does that. I was like, I'm sorry, I'll leave. He's like, no, you're okay. Stay as long as you need. But I just wondered if you were okay. I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. Thank you. So I end up sitting there for about 45 minutes in total. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, okay, it's been 45 minutes. I haven't heard from any of my friends. Like, what is going on? I text both of them, no response. I call both of them, it just rings until the voicemail hits. So I'm confused as hell, and I think to myself, I need to leave. Like, it's been 45 minutes. They clearly got caught. I need to start making my way back home and just like wait out the night and see what happens. So I start walking back to my house. Now, the shitty thing is my house was not far from this abandoned building, like very close, like maybe half a mile away. So I'm walking down one of the main roads where the abandoned building isn't near, and all of a sudden I see a cop car out of the corner of my eye driving on the other side of the road. Now listen, there's a lot of police in my area, so it could have been any other police officer, but I was really nervous that it was one of the police officers that was chasing us. And then right as I think he's about to pass by me and keep driving, he slows down and does a U-turn and then pulls over on the side of the road right next to me and rolls down his window. And at that point, I knew I was done. I was like, yep, I'm getting caught. I'm getting arrested. This is it. I'm done. And he rolls down his window and he goes, hey, excuse me, kid. I was like, hey, what's up? He goes, you seen anybody running through here? Like 3 kids? I was like, no, officer, I haven't seen anybody. He's like, all right, well, let me know if you see anyone. Call the station if you do. I'm like, okay, for sure. And he leaves. To which I completely explode with relief because I really thought right then and there I was getting arrested. And the cop leaves, and I'm just in shock right now. And I'm also wondering, like, they must have not caught my friends because he said, have I seen 3 kids running through here? Meaning all 3 must still be on the loose. He must still be looking for them. So I run all the way back to my friend's house. Not my house, my friend's house. And when I get there, I walk inside, and out of nowhere, my friends run in from the other room and give me a giant hug. And they're like, Austin, you're alive. I was like, yeah, I am. What the fuck happened to you guys? I tried calling you guys. And they're like, bro, our phones are gone. I was like, how? And I guess what happened is they were running, and when they were running, their phones both fell out of their pockets. Both of them, yes. One of my friends dropped his in the other woods, and my other friend dropped his when he got up the hill on the sidewalk or something. And I'm like, well, did they find your guys' phones? And they're like, we don't know. So we had to wait all night, super anxiously, for the sun to rise. And then we went back there in the morning. We had to walk there to go and find both of my friends' cell phones. We found the one on the sidewalk. That one was in plain sight. Super easy to find. Honestly, kind of surprised the cops didn't find it first. But my other friend's phone, the one that was in the forest, that one was like impossible to find. I didn't even end up finding it. My friend found it 2 days later by himself when he went back to look again. And also, my friend had to get his car as well. He left his car and his phone out there because he ran home from the police. So yeah, he got his car from this other parking lot that was up the hill. He parked it in some random parking lot of some other business, so the police never found it. And in the end, everything was good. Everything was fine. My friends got their phones. My friend got his car. We didn't get caught. But moral of the story is, never do that, ever. Terrible idea. Just not a good idea at all. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Like what's up? They leave me out for the dead, and now they know they're fucked. All my texts are unread, that's how